plenty of politics on the rundown tonight. But I want to open with crime, especially violent crime, where poor Americans are defenseless. That is the subject of this evening's Talking Points memo. In many Democrat-run cities and some Republican ones, but not to the extent of the Democrat cities, violent crime in the black communities is totally out of control. And this is the ultimate irony, because the Democratic Party and the progressive movement and the liberal precincts do everything they can, or say everything they can, that's a better description, to help black Americans. It's a theme. It's been that way for decades. But the left is hurting African Americans. Let's take Chicago, for example. Chicago murder victims last year, 22. Black, 77%. White, 4%. Chicago aggravated assault and battery victims last year. Black, 64%. Chicago criminal sexual assault victims in 22. Black, 47, white, 19. Chicago robbery victims. Black, 39, white, 16. Chicago human trafficking victims last year. Black, 55, white, 5. The situation is same in St. Louis, in Oakland, in Baltimore, all the liberal cities. Poor black Americans are getting hurt, and it's getting worse and worse and worse. Why? Because the district attorneys there in the cities mentioned and others will not enforce the law. Why? Because they don't believe in quote unquote mass incarceration. What is mass incarceration? That's putting young black males in prison, because young black males commit violent crimes far more than any other group in this country. So, for decades, they were incarcerated. But George Soros and the far left, which drives the liberal district attorneys, they saw it as racism, not law and order. And so these people got elected, like Alvin Bragg in New York City and Kim Foxx in Chicago. We're not going to arrest and prosecute black people, no matter what they do. Drug gangs, armed, this, that, and the other thing, mowing down 6-year-olds. Remember Kim Foxx in Chicago? Remember when she said there was a shootout in a Chicago neighborhood between two gangs, all right? And she wouldn't prosecute it, Ms. Fox, because she said, well, they both were wrong. They both had guns, so we're not going to do anything. Meantime, law-abiding people live in the neighborhood. Little children play in the neighborhood. This is insane. Okay, so in Washington, D.C., there has now been a tipping point. So far this year, 161 homicides, a 28% increase over last year, and last year was horrendous. All right, D.C. is on pace to be the deadliest year in 2 decades. Remember, D.C. is run by the federal government, but has local leadership. The mayor, Muriel Bowser, is a far left incompetent. 45% of the District of Columbia is black. Almost all of the violent crime is in the black neighborhoods. So yesterday, a city council member, Trayvon White, said this. Go.
There was another shooting here on 60th and V just yesterday morning. And while that night, the police chief, the interim police chief, Smith, stated that we are not in a war zone. I know those who live here know that we are clearly in a war zone.
Absolutely.
I'm going to say it again. We are clearly
in a war
zone. If you don't know you are in a war zone, that means you haven't been here.
Now, here's the tragic irony. The people in Washington, D.C. vote for far-left politicians almost exclusively. The same people who are hurting them, the same Soros-driven candidates, are time and time and time again supported by Black Americans. In New York State, where I am, Governor Hochul, reelected last November, would have lost if not for the fact that African Americans in New York City voted for her 90%. Lee Zeldin lost by a little bit. If 70% of African Americans supported Hochul and 30%, it would be Governor Zeldin. And in the Bronx, in Brooklyn, in the heavily black precincts, the murder and violent rate in New York is out of control. Yet, the voters keep voting for these people. It is a racial thing. I understand the skin color factor. It's wrong, it's dumb, it's self-defeating, but it's a reality. So I'm sitting here going, look, it's my job to look out for all Americans. I don't care what color, religion, what ideology you hold. It's my job to be a watchdog. Now, I will tell you this. In D.C., Chicago, New York, St. Louis, it's not going to get better until African American voters stop supporting the soft on crime police chiefs and district attorneys. It's not going to get better. Till the no bail laws are revoked, the attacks on police stop, you are going to you yourself may be shot in the head. You have a much greater chance of being shot in the head than I do. Okay? That is the truth. I still feel sorry for the poor people, and they're defenseless. They're absolutely defenseless against these drug gangs and these thugs, heavily armed. And you hear guns, guns, guns. You hear all that. These progressive district attorneys don't even prosecute gun crimes. So don't tell me gun, 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 Joe Biden. That's the memo. Very, very sad, but a reality. Governor DeSantis suspends Orlando State Attorney Monique Worrell for dereliction of duty, says the governor. Quote, the practices and policies of her office have allowed murderers, other violent offenders, and dangerous drug traffickers to receive extremely reduced sentences and escape the full consequences of their criminal conduct. In some cases, these offenders have evaded incarceration altogether. State Attorney Worrell's practices undermine federal law, Florida law, I should say, and endanger the safety, security, and welfare of the communities that Miss Worrell was elected to serve. So she is out, just like the DA in St. Louis was fired by the Attorney General in Missouri. Good. Good. Get rid of them. If the voters won't do it, then the governors have to. But you're dealing with a very corrupt press in Florida. Now, most people don't know that. All of the newspapers are ultra-left, okay? Television stations, all they do is weather. Local TV in Florida, you're not going to get much. Maybe that's unfair, maybe a few stations, but pretty much not. So Miss Worrell, Miss Worrell, just to reinforce how bad she is, all right, did not file charges against more than 40% of those arrested in her district by the police. That's anarchy. So you would think that the press would say, hey, good job, Governor DeSantis. No. So the St. Louis, boy, I'm delirious today. I apologize. The Sun Sentinel, based in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, extremely left paper, Okay? Here's what they editorialize. Quote, the Worrell suspension is not only blatantly partisan, but carries obvious racial overtones, which DeSantis tried to deflect by choosing as her interim replacement Andrew Bain, a Black County Court judge and DeSantis appointee with 3 years of experience. Obvious racial overtones. Yeah, that's right, Sun Sentinel. It's all about her. She's black, and that's why DeSantis booted her, right? Not the fact that she didn't prosecute 40% of those arrested. No. She's black. That's why he went after her. This is so irresponsible, such race baiting. And who's responsible for this? The editor of the newspaper, Julie Anderson. And she's also the editor of the Orlando Sentinel. Okay, Julie Anderson allows this kind of garbage to be put in her newspaper. And it's just garbage. Race baiting garbage. All right, now, the Sun Sentinel is owned by the Tribune Publishing Company. A guy named Heath Freeman, I guess, is in charge of that. And he's another far-left guy who lives in New York City. He doesn't have anything to do with Florida. Let me tell you a Sun Sentinel story. You'll remember I did the history show with Donald Trump. We opened in Fort Lauderdale, Florida at the hockey arena. Huge crowd, so big, the Secret Service was caught by surprise, couldn't get the people into the arena because they had to wand everybody in time for the show. The show was delayed an hour. Okay. The Sun Sentinel photographer snuck into the arena somehow and shot empty seats because nobody was in the arena. They were all outside online getting wanded. The Sun Sentinel put the picture on the front page saying nobody showed up to the jump show as a big bomb. That's the Sun Sentinel. That's what you got in Southern Florida down there. Again, Julie Anderson, you want to email her or whatever, you feel free to do that. Awful. As you may know, Mike Lindell has a passion to help everyone get their best sleep of their life. He didn't stop by simply creating the best pillow. Mike also created the Giza Dream bed sheets made from the world's best cotton. They look and feel great, come in a variety of sizes and colors. This means you get a great night's sleep, crucial for people like me with a busy schedule. My Pillow's bed sheets are ultra soft and breathable, but extremely durable. They also come with a 60-day money-back guarantee and a 10-year warranty. Mike's latest incredible deal is a sale of the year for a limited time. Receive 50% off the Giza Dream Sheets. Get a set for as low as $29.98. So please call 1-800-869-0298 and use promo code BILL. Or you can go to mypillow.com and again use promo code BILL. Target. This is, Bud Light, okay, Target. So Target put on, they wanted to sell gay-themed products and Satan-themed products, all of this. Unbelievable. But that's what they did. So on May 17th of this year, before they started that, Target sold for $161 a share. Today, it's about $130 a share. 3 months, 30 points, decrease of 20%. And it's all because of the pride stuff and all of that. These corporations, you got to stay out of this stuff. Okay? Leave it to MSNBC and Fox. And Target's not coming back. The Christmas season at Target, I don't know if you sell Satan gear at the Christmas season, because Satan, of course, doesn't like Christians. I don't know. That might be a cheap shot. Okay, Smart Life. I'm doing this every 6 months for you guys because a lot of No Spin News listeners and viewers have gotten money from this. Missingmoney.com. Write it down, missingmoney.com. Missing money, one word. So you go to the website And then if you have unclaimed property, if you have money that's owed you, anything, you can recover it. They'll send you money. So you got to search your name, your hometown, whatever they want, you got to give them. And then they see if there's a claim anywhere in the country that you get money. All right? Smart life. Missingmoney.com. All right, so I had my assistant run me. I didn't get anything. But I hope you do. Hey, if you watch my program or have been paying attention at all since COVID, you are aware of the risks we all face to our supply chain, critical infrastructure, and the power grid. Cyber attacks, gunfire, pandemics, all on the table. What would your family do facing a months-long blackout? No electricity, no fridge, no phone, no respirator, and an empty grocery store. Well, 4 Patriots has a new solar-powered portable generator. It harnesses the power of the sun, can be moved around the house, and is used to power essentials in a time of crisis. So don't procrastinate on ensuring your family's well-being at a time they need it most. Please go to 4patriots.com today. Use my code NOSPIN for 10% off. That's the number 4, patriots.com. Again, use code NOSPIN for 10% off. Here is the final thought of the day. So my backyard out here in eastern Long Island, where I am, is the Atlantic Ocean. And I am one of the most fortunate people on the planet. Now, I worked my butt off to be able to afford that, but I was lucky to get the place. So this morning, I'm out with the Terra dog. I got to take her out, and there's a giant whale, maybe 50 yards off the coast, or, off the beach. And I mean, this whale is like, woo, in and out and up and down, its spout and everything. Oh, it's fabulous. So I'm a big nature guy, as many of you know. And I think that nature, if you're not in a good mood, or you got a lot of pressure in your life, and things aren't working out, just get out into the woods or the mountains or the ocean or the beach. You don't really have to do much. You walk around and deep breaths and all of that. You don't know what you're going to see. And I've always been that way. I never lived in New York City. I know the city as well as any human being on the earth. But I never lived there. I always lived in the burbs, because I wanted a car, but more importantly, I wanted the nature thing. Big ocean guy. Every time I go down there, and I go down there in the morning, and then if I'm off, I go plunk in the ocean and look around. But if I have to work, I go down at night. All right, not just when at dusk. Man, the stuff you see, it's just fantastic. So nature, it will help your life. If you integrate it, it will help you. Thank you very much for watching and listening to the No Spin News. We will see you tomorrow. Thank you for watching the No Spin News. To watch the full episode anytime on BillO'Reilly.com, please sign up to become a premium or concierge member. Visit BillO'Reilly.com to sign up and start watching today.